Hello, my name is Michael D'Angelo, and I'm going to cover the organization settings in GlassFrog. So as an organization admin, you can find your settings underneath the admin navigation on the left nav, and there you'll find organization settings. When you select that, there are four tabs that show up: Profile, Features, Data, and History. Under the Profile tab is basic information about the organization, like its logo, time zone, the language, the default language for the organization. Individuals can set their own language, so they can override it for themselves, but GlassFrog fully supports 12 languages. Whether the organization is publicly visible or not, which means that if you provide someone outside the organization with the URL of GlassFrog, they can see information about your company. They can't edit anything, but they can at least see it. And whether setup mode is on or off for your organization. Under features is a way to fine tune various aspects of GlassFrog. So for example, in the application, you can enable ROI for projects. It's enabled by default. ROI is in the project settings, in the project data. You can specify value, effort, and ROI. These three work together, and that setting decides whether that's visible or not. Allow unsubscribing from all governance changes and tactical meeting outputs by default. Whenever a circle makes changes in governance, the members of that circle get an email, and individuals can choose to unsubscribe and not be notified. You can make that a requirement that they be notified. Send new users invitations to GlassFrog. By default, when you add a new user, it actually sends them an invitation and they have to accept it in order for them to be added into GlassFrog and receive other notifications. You can override that by selecting this. Only admins can generate PDF reports. So in the report section, which everyone in the organization has access to, they can generate reports like all the what are all the roles in the organization, what are all the policies, et cetera. If for some reason you want to restrict that to just admins, that can be enabled. Custom profile fields are individual profile fields. So in this example, there's two that have been added: my purpose and skills. So under an individual's personal profile, these will show up here, and the users can modify and edit the content of that. This information is available for other members of the organization to see. What about Michael? What are his skills or things that I've specified? And then beta features. You can choose to opt in to various beta features. We will often make these available before we're ready for prime release, so that we can start to get feedback and start to get some exposure to something that's emerging within the application. Roles allows you to specify various aspects of the display, including there are some core roles by default in GlassFrog, like circle rep, secretary, and facilitator. So you can choose to whether you want that to be a standard set of roles within your organization. You can turn off facilitator and secretary so they don't even show up as a default, or you can change the name of them. So maybe they're called something else instead of facilitator. It's called whatever, something else. And whether they are elected roles or not. By default, these are elected, so which means it has to go through process to determine who's in there, rather than just being assigned by the circle lead. So you can turn that on or off. The tabs themselves, and the tabs referring to these tabs here. So those tabs can be turned off. So maybe for your organization, you have a different system for managing projects, so you want to turn off projects, or you kind of use a different terminology for metrics, so you want to just rename metrics to something else. You can do that. And then the overview section is what is displayed in the overview part of the tab. This says purpose, strategies, accountabilities, etc. So you can turn those defaults on. And yeah, so rules is a little more complicated. I'll cover that in a separate video. You can enable various integrations from here and your SAML settings, and then role templates I describe in another video. Data is a way to import or export data from GlassFrog. So you can import CSV to add additional roles. This is useful when you're first adding or creating your organization, or if you have a large number of projects, maybe they came out of a large planning session that you'd like to add to the organization without having to manually add each project. So there's ways to do that. And exports will generate JSON export of the data within GlassFrog. And then history shows a history of major changes within the organization settings, whether you've turned on or off setup mode, for example. So that's a quick overview of the organization settings.